I do not have a plan for what to say because that's not how I roll. Like most of you, I absolutely know that the wisdom of spirit is within, and that when we have something to say to one another, it's usually on purpose, and that would be God's purpose. So I never have a plan. And right now what I'm doing is feeling you and tuning into you and allowing that intuition to begin to speak through this instrument. Could be speaking through any of you at this any moment. Any of you might pop up and grab the mic, and that'd be fine with me. I say it willingly. So there's two different mindsets right now, I'm being told, two different mindsets that probably we would mostly find one of the mindsets here. However, there are two strong mindsets going on. And the question that egos ask themselves is, am I being thwarted or supported? And if you look out into the world and you see everything that appears to be going on, and I use the word appears purposefully.
Amen.
Appears. That would be a very good question to ask. And when something isn't going the way that you planned on, that would also be a very good question to ask. Am I being thwarted in my efforts and my attachments and my agenda, or am I being supported? Now I know everyone in this room and everyone watching already knows the answer. You know the universe is for you. You know you can't be outside of the divinity that you are. So you know the universe supports you. That makes it your job. You know, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but when you're in a relationship, an intimate relationship, doesn't matter what kind it is, you know, parent to child or romantic, the one who's the most sane in any given moment is the one who takes charge. Right? Because when we're in our insanity, we can't take charge. We're too busy being distracted by the crazy show in our minds. So at any given moment, the one who is most sane in the room is responsible for holding that space. Right now, everyone who's here and everyone who's watching has the capacity to be sane, supported in a world that looks like a lot is being thwarted. And if any of your personal agendas aren't working out the way that you wanted them to, it doesn't mean that the universe isn't for you. It means the universe has a better plan than your personality can come up with, right? So how many people know that? Can I hear an amen, Sister D?
Yes,
Thank you.
say that.
So here's what's fun. You speaks for me. I was saying earlier that the first time I was here was about 20 years ago, and when I woke up this morning, I was thinking about our beloved Earl Purdy.
Oh, really? Yes.
I met him 20 years ago here. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything about him. And a musical friend of ours, Scott Calixtine, who you might know, said, you have to come hear this guy speak. He's amazing. And I did, and so I woke up thinking of Earl Purdy, and then you said he'll be here at 1, and I'm like, the house cleaner's at my house, and I live in Boulder, what do I do, what do I do? So I'm practicing non-attachment. The reason I went into that segue, Spirit is telling me right now, is because non-attachment and curiosity are our two big medicines. You ever notice the more you're attached to having something happen according to the way you think that it should go, that you have more suffering? Yeah, attachment equals suffering. So the more attached we are to having things the way we think that they should go, should is the key operating word there, the more pain and suffering we cause ourselves. Now, Amen. Amen, Sister D.
Amen, Sister D.
Thank you. So, put this on a global scale. I know there's a lot of pain and suffering, and I just want to give a shout out right now in this moment to everyone in the Marshall, Superior, Louisville area who just went, I mean, we literally went from high wind to fire to feet and feet of snow in 24 hours flat. It was biblical. It was a biblical moment. And I'm certain that all the people who lost their homes, except for one woman that I was told about, are suffering. Right? They lost their homes, they lost their attachments, they lost the physical plane reality. And there's one woman that I know of, you've heard Rachel speak here. We were talking last night, and she shared with me that her mom is one of the people who lost her house. Everything. And her mom is a practicing Buddhist. And Rachel shared with me that a few weeks earlier, her mom was talking about non-attachment.
Wow.
And how it's not about physical plane belongings, it's not about the stuff we can collect or the things we can get. It's about what goes on right in here, that this is the true home. And when she lost everything in the fire and Rachel was speaking with her, she said, honey, I was just telling you this 3 weeks ago. The impermanence is the word that she used, the impermanence of everything.
Wow.
So about 30 years ago, my guidance came in and showed me a vision, of this time. And at that time, I didn't understand what I was looking at. I'm like, what I was told is the systems are going to come apart. Educational systems, political systems, health systems, banking systems, any religious institutions that have been traditional, everything's going to come unzipped and unglued and come apart. And you will be here for it. And I thought, it's not a very exciting thing to hear about, but okay,
Yay.
you know, why fight the what is? And I asked them why. You know, I asked, you know, we all have intuition, we have the voice of God within us, I call it the God spark. And sometimes, if you think of God as a diamond body, a diamond has many, many, many facets. Sometimes our intuition speaks to us, much like Esther Hicks, as group consciousness. And I speak with a group consciousness whose name is Thea. They're called the Embodied Ascension Guides. So I asked, why am I being shown this? And how is this going to affect humanity on Earth? And what I was shown was it's actually a birth. That everything that can no longer go forward in the frequency of love and light, where the divine is taking us, must come undone. You know this. You see this in your lives all the time. You practice this in your meditations. When it's happening on a global scale, the way it is now, there are so many people who are not yet awake to this. And that doesn't make those who are awake hierarchically better than those who are not awake. Everyone's in their divinely appointed place on purpose. There are those who are holding the light. There are those who are holding the fear. We need the diversity. However, when it's happening on a global scale, the Richter scale of fear is so high. It's just so high because people are being in a frenzy and they're frantic and they forget, or they may not know yet, the answers are right here for everything. I don't care what it is. The divine is the divine, ever present, always. We can't be outside of that. We can't not be that. And so when there's frenzy, there's not listening. So our job, those of us who are practicing intuition and listening, our job is to hold that space and to bring that forward. And when I asked the guides way back then, why are you showing this to me? They said, you teach intuition. That is your job on the planet. You help people get connected to their inner voice of spirit. That's your job. That's what you're going to be doing, and that's what you're going to turn as many people on to be doing as possible. And I thought, what? That's really groovy. I love that. You know, I'm showing my age. I said groovy. Can I hear an amen, Sister D? Thank you. Groovy is still in my book.
Yes, it is.
And what I notice is that it's not so much that I have the opportunity to teach people how to awaken their intuition and listen to the voice of God within. It's that I have the privilege and honor of being in the company of people who already live that way. So it was like a twisted blessing. It's like, yeah, no, you're not actually going to teach. You're just going to be in a constant, steady reminder by the people around you that that is the path. And so that's our job right now, is to really turn the dial up on that inner listening and bring that gratitude. When I did the meditation earlier and I said, we want to go to God with gratitude to start with. Not after we get the blessings. We want to be a blessing, coming to the door of God saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for this incarnation. I was born for this time. Thank you that I get to be here. Thank you that I get to live in a state of remembrance. Thank you that I get to give back to begin my day with. My lunch break, one of gratitude. Before I go to sleep, I can think of all the things, all the blessings, all the beauty, all the miracles I got to see all day long, and bless that and give thanks for that. And as we do that, we're doing our job. As we do that, we are balancing what's going on in the collective consciousness that is fear-based for the most part. There's a whole lot of people who are awake. There's a whole lot of people who have faith. There's a lot of people who are listening inside. There's just more people that aren't than that are. And that's the nature of it, because when the shadow comes up, you know, I know, when our shadows come up, we're not necessarily sane in those moments. You know, our ego takes us, dragging us down the street, and the stories are in our head, and our personality wants to have its fit. I don't like it. I don't like it. Right? How many? Admit it. How many people do that? Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Amen.
Amen. And we need to feel all of that too. The point is not to get confused as to who we are. We're in a human embodiment on purpose. We embodied at this time on purpose. We're not here by accident, every single one of us. We're here on purpose.
Amen.
And we have those feelings and we experience that humanity, and there's no judgment about any of that. Just if you're going to go into it fully. So you're not judging it and you're not holding back and you're not trying to be something. You're not a good spiritual person doesn't feel these things. That's, I won't say the word, but that's not right. We need to feel it all. We're in human embodiment on person. And we're helping to pass the energy through that is slowly dying off as this light gives birth to new consciousness. So midwives for Gaia. I think of Gaia as the feminine face of God, Mother Earth, the living spirit of the feminine, the music of the spheres. We are midwives for Gaia. We are hairs on the head of Mother Earth. We are the channels through which that light comes through. And we channel it from our crown through our feet. We channel it from our hearts out. We channel it in our voice, in our sound, and in our words. We channel it in our thinking. There isn't anybody who's not a channel. The point is, where is your attention? That's the biggest key. The intuition is there, the God spark is on, you're it. Where is your attention? So what we always want to do, to the best of our ability, as much as we can, is pay attention, give attention to that brilliant light inside. Know that that is who you are. That is your identity. You can't not be that. You may be a channel passing through grief energy, anger, rage, injustice, whatever the stories and thoughts and feelings are, you're a channel for that too, because you're a human being. Don't confuse the moving emotions and the waves of feeling with who you are. You are God spark manifest. You are literally the divine having a human experience. That's not original, you've heard it a million times. Be that. Like Charles Fillmore said, you cannot attract that to you which you are not already embodying. So I'm challenging you and I'm inviting you to be fearless. This one taught herself piano in her adulthood for the last 2 years. Right? I mean, can we have the name in Sister Dina?
Hey, Diane.
Yeah. Brave, fearless, and courageous. Say that with me. Brave, fearless, and courageous. And now look at someone and say it. Brave, fearless, and courageous. That's who we are. That's where we belong. That's our position in life. Yes. Brave.
Amen, Sister D.
Amen, Sister D. Brave, fearless, and courageous. Why? Because we know better. And if we know better, we're responsible for that knowing. We're responsible for that wisdom. If we're more awake, we need to dish that out. We need to give that out wherever we go. If you're standing in a grocery store and you're online and you've got a time thing happening and you're feeling impatient, change that up. Right there in that moment. How attached do you need to be to the hallucination of time anyway? Right? It's all appearance. It's all man-made constructs. I love this. It's a new year! Really? In what dimension? You know? We have our rituals and our ceremonies, and it's wonderful to celebrate. When you're walking in a state of self-connectedness, self capital S with the divine, you know, you can feel it's all a play. It's all a stage. You're a character. The divine has designed you as a character. What do you do with that character, right? Sometimes I let my character run amok and just have her way, because you know, I'm a human being and I need release and it's entertaining to be me. And sometimes all I care about is making sure the Holy Divine is using this instrument for its purpose. God, thy will be done. Thy will be done. All day long, thy will be done. Okay, I just cleaned the kitchen, thy will be done. What do you want me to do? Yesterday, I'm never nap. I never nap. I'm napping. I wake up and my phone is ringing and scrolling across it is Columbine Unity. And I'm like, why would Columbine Unity be calling me on a Saturday? And then I realize it's Rachel. And Rachel's like, hey, can you go tomorrow and fill in? My day was stacked today. Totally stacked. And I just got done praying before I took a nap. I said, thy will be done. I know that you know that I know that you want me to speak more. you've got to open the doors, because I don't have it in me to go knocking on doors and say, hey, I want to speak of God for you, you know, just make it happen. Boom, within 24 hours, here I am. Right? And the reason that excites me so much is that every single one of us lives like that. We just need to put our attention on it more. We're not outside of that miraculous living, because that miraculous living, that divine wisdom is living us. We are being lived. We are being escorted. And if we would let go, I speak for me anyway. The more I let go of my control issues, the more I let go of my attachments and my little addictions, she's pointing.
Say that, sister.
The more I surrender and realize I am supported, not thwarted. My little ego with its little attachments and its little, but I want to, or I don't want to, the more I follow that, the more suffering I have. The more I surrender and say, thy will be done, because you know what's best for me. You are that which is living through me, so live through me fully and completely. I surrender it all. The greater joy, exhilaration, and peace. Let alone the manifesting, right? Am I right? Have you turned that, your manifesting over to spirit? It's like, you know, this would serve if I had this, then I can serve over there, like what you're doing with the movies, you know, and all of that. The more we can be of service at this time, more awake, more tuned in, coming from here, the more love this world gets to vibrate in, because we're giving it out. And speaking of that, I'm being told to just share one little trick with you that I was shown by my guides. When you're talking, you might do an experiment with this over the next 24 hours. When you're talking, notice if your awareness and the presence of love that you are is staying here in your body, with your body. Notice if you feel the voice, which is the voice of God speaking through you, the voice of spirit using your instrument. Notice if you feel your voice vibrating in your body when you're talking. Are you in your heart? Are you in your belly? Are you in your hips? Are you in your legs and feet? Are you home? Or do you tend to talk like this? So that you're talking out there and you've left your spirit and you've left your body and you want to make sure everyone's hearing you, what you have to say. Do you feel the difference in how that feels? That one hurts. This one is peacemaking. And when I'm standing with you and I'm talking with you from the place of love speaking through me, I am getting nourished. And you are getting nourished, because it's a vibration and it's frequency. So I want to invite and challenge you to spend the next 24 hours noticing when you're interacting, where are you speaking from? And it doesn't mean we turn the joy down. God, no, we never turn the joy down. But it does mean we're embodying the love that we tend to hold conceptually. We think about God. We think about being loving. It's from the neck down, people. We have to be the living embodiment of that. So the frequency and vibration is emanating through us. It creates a resonant field. That is another way that we share our love in this world. I am actually hearing to stop talking right now. Very interesting. I just got told to stop. I will be done. There are questions or comments. Something's happening out here, and I'm being told to open a space for that. I don't know what that means. Anyone want to share a moment that they're having? Yes.